Paris Games mean Selena Sykes here in the studio. Great to see you. The opening ceremony is on Friday, of course. But as we've been hearing, several events have begun today, including the football, kicking off a very chaotic start. Let us into that one.
A lot of drama in one of those opening matches for football between Argentina and Morocco in Saint-Etienne. It took nearly 4 hours to reach a conclusion in that game. Let me run through events for you. Morocco were 2-1 up when Argentina's Christian Medina scored deep into injury time, nearly 15 minutes of injury time, sparking an angry reaction from Morocco supporters. Some of them threw bottles and flares onto the pitch, while others invaded the pitch. There was a lot of confusion among fans as to whether the game had been suspended or concluded. Nearly 2 hours later, VAR disallowed Argentina's equaliser for offside, and the teams eventually re-emerged to an empty stadium to play out the final 3 minutes of that game. So just if there was any confusion there, Mark, that game did eventually end 2-1 to Morocco after that very chaotic game.
I saw the VAR. He was offside, bang to right. So the team that won, and they won fair and square. But the chaos surrounding it, it's kind of unprecedented, isn't it? Amazing stuff. OK, so that's the football, which continues. Rugby Sevens began today. The Sevens is a smaller version of the 15 game. That didn't get off to the best of start for Les Bleus, but they finished today with a win. Yeah,
that's right, Mark. So obviously Rugby Sevens is shorter than Rugby 15 aside, which means that several matches are played throughout the day usually. And obviously there's been a lot of expectations for France because they have their world-class player Antoine Dupont, who's made the transition from 15s even to sevens to play this Olympics on home turf after being held to a 12-all draw by the United States in their opener at a packed Stade de France. France came out on top in their second game, a tough second encounter against Uruguay. They won 19-12. Les Bleus will be facing Fiji next in Pool C on Thursday. A tough task for them as Fiji have won both Olympic golds since Rugby Sevens was introduced at the Rio Games in 2016. Now, moving on, our journalists have been following athletes from across the globe as they prepare for the Olympics as part of our Four Corners of the World series. Today, we continue in Colombia following race walker Ada Arevalo. In this episode, our team in Bogota tells us more about the discipline of race walking. Let's take a look.
For me, race walking is an art.
Invented in the 17th century in the United Kingdom, race walking is a particularly technical sport. For Ada Arevalo, it all comes down to coordination.
You have to add up all the movements of the arms, the legs, the pelvis to be synchronized and move forward.
Race walking is one of the most demanding disciplines in athletics. Luis Fernando Lopez, coach of the Colombian race walker and world champion of the 20-kilometer track in 2011, explains to us the secrets of success.
A lot of the momentum comes from the arms, a bit like in cross-country skiing. If I gain momentum with the arms, the pelvis moves forward. If the pelvis rotates forward, the step will be longer.
The golden rule of race walking: keep one foot in contact with the ground at all times, and the supporting leg must be straight when vertical. Over 20 to 50 kilometers of this atypical walking puts a strain on the body. Like many athletes, this other Colombian champion fell into the sport by chance.
At first I didn't like it. A month later I started training and became a national champion. Since then I've loved it.
Rochelle de Obata comes from Puerto Rico, but she trains in Bogota and is qualified for the 20-kilometer walk at the Paris Games. The introduction of a new mixed marathon relay walking event is stirring debate among athletes.
I don't have a pair. This is why I find this mixed relay event unfair for all the countries that don't have a tandem to present.
Colombia has 2 pairs qualified for this relay, an event announced less than a year before Paris 2024. But despite the short preparation time, they're optimistic. Race walking has done well for the country in the past, a silver medal at the Olympics and 2 world titles.
I think that in Paris, if all goes well, we can be among the top 8 or 10.
But Ada Arevalo will not be a part of this year's story. He was forced to withdraw from the Paris Games after an injury in June.
That is a captivating series, Selena. I'm really excited to find out what happens next. So let's move on. Hosting the Olympics for France won't end, will it? There's been another announcement that you can give us regarding France staging big events.
That's right. Obviously, for France, this won't be over this summer because they've been provisionally chosen to host the 2030 Winter Olympics and Paralympics. The French Alps bid, which was put forward as the International Olympic Committee's preferred vote in June, was approved on Wednesday, providing that France gives financial guarantees because the French government has been unable to provide that necessary state and regional guarantees because of recent legislative elections here. The French president, Emmanuel Macron, has said that he will not be naming a new government until after the Olympics. It will be the fourth time that France will be staging a Winter Olympics.
Which is absolutely fantastic. And of course, we'll get to see you on the ski slopes, I'm sure. The story that Selena really wanted to do before that was about Team USA announcing Coco Gauff as their female flag bearer for Friday's opening ceremony. Selena, pardon me.
That's okay. Obviously, a star-studded cast for Team USA as the Stars and Stripes will be held by LeBron James and Coco Gauff. Gauff, who won the US Open last year, is competing in her first Olympics. The 20-year-old is the number 2 seed for the women's singles in Paris. Serena Williams was the last American to win an Olympic gold in the women's singles, and that was at London 2012, Mark.
Selena, thank you again for pardoning me for losing my place in the script there. Selena there with all the Paris Games. She'll be back every night, of course, reveling in this great sporting event, which we're trying to cover as best we possibly can to bring you everything as it happens. Selena, great to see you. Thank you very much indeed.